message lights my phone again. No one listens when I speak, and somehow you listen to me. Behind a screen, behind no name, we shared our fears, our hidden pain. You became my quiet escape from every exhausting day. You knew the parts nobody sees, the side of me behind the company ID. And every night I waited for your little "are you awake?" once more. We fell in love anonymously, two lonely hearts behind glowing screens. But if only you knew, in reality, you're the coworker who keeps fighting with me. Every morning we slam the door, then every midnight we become something more. Funny how love can hide so perfectly inside strangers we already meet. At work you roll your eyes at me like I'm your worst enemy. We argue over everything, coffee breaks and meetings. But then the clock strikes after 10, suddenly you text again. I had a rough day, are you there? And I stay up because I care. One night you sent a photo accidentally, a tiny glimpse of your reality. And my whole world stopped breathing, because the girl I secretly loved online was you. We fell in love anonymously while hating each other publicly. Two different worlds, one hidden truth. All this time I was talking to you. Now every fight feels different somehow, because I know the softness behind your doubts. And maybe destiny thought it was funny, making enemies fall in love secretly. Tomorrow morning we'll probably argue again, but tonight, tell me about your day. Passed me once in Tokyo rain, both of us rushed in separate ways. I held the door, you looked away, and fate stayed silent that day. Years later in a crowded train, we stood just inches once again. Two strangers breathing different pain, without knowing we were almost fate. Funny how life moves quietly, changing hearts invisibly, while destiny keeps drawing lines between your world and mine. If we hadn't met that day, would my lonely heart still feel this way? Would your tears still fall at night, without my arms to hold you tight? After years of almost, and maybe it's the universe finally gave you to me. At the moment we were both about to break, fate whispered softly now. You lost your job that winter night, I lost the strength to keep up the fight. Two exhausted souls in a cafe glow, trying hard not to let it show. You asked, is this seat taken then? And somehow it felt like home again. Like every road we walked before was leading us to this moment all along. We talked until the sunrise came, about heartbreak, fear and pain. And somewhere between coffee stains and tears, our lonely worlds disappeared. If we hadn't met that day, maybe we'd still be lost this way. night since I was 17. You appeared inside my dreams, standing softly in the pouring rain, calling out my name again. I never knew where you belonged, but somehow you felt like home. Your eyes carried a lonely light that stayed with me after every night. So I wrote about you endlessly, in every page and every melody. People thought you were fiction somehow, but I swear you felt so real somehow. You were the girl from my dreams, the one my soul had always seen. Like fate kept drawing us together across imaginary weather. And when I finally met your eyes in a crowded street beneath July skies, my whole world stopped breathing, because you were real, standing right in front of me. You smiled and softly said to me, I think I've seen you in my sleep. And suddenly the years made sense, like destiny crossed heaven's distance. We spent our days chasing light, talking through endless nights. But behind your beautiful smile, there was sadness you hid all the while. Then one night inside the hospital glow, you whispered something soft and low. I don't have much time left now, maybe that's why I found you somehow. And my hands began to shake as the world inside me broke away, because after all these years of searching, fate was already taking you from me. You were the girl from my dreams, too beautiful for reality. Like heaven let me love for a while, then slowly stole it back with time. And now I still write about your name, about the girl who came through dreams and rain, because even death couldn't take away the way my soul still loves you endlessly. Some by destiny, but maybe we met in dreams first, because eternity was never long enough for us. Every year on this cold December night, I sit beneath these tired station lights. Same old bench, same passing trains, same quiet heart, still whispering your name. People stare like I've lost my mind. 5 long years wasting all this time, but they don't know the promise we made before you walked away that day. You said if fate still wants us someday, meet me here, don't forget this place. And though the world kept moving on, I stayed where our story once belonged. So I waited at the same station, through every season, every heartbreak, every lonely occasion. While strangers came and disappeared, I kept believing you were somewhere near. And even when they called me crazy, my heart still held your memory safely, because some loves never truly fade away. They just wait at the same station someday. I watch winters turn into spring, saw lovers holding wedding rings, and every year I almost gave in, but your voice kept pulling me back again. Sometimes I wondered if you forgot, if I was only a passing thought, but something deep inside my soul said our ending wasn't written yet at all. Then one night through the pouring rain, a familiar shadow called my name, and suddenly the world stood still, like time itself bent to our will. You looked at me with trembling eyes and whispered softly, almost crying, I prayed you'd still be waiting here. And there you were at the same station, after 5 years of endless expectation. No more distance, no more pain. Destiny finally brought you back again. The train still rode into the night, but all I saw was your tearful smile, because some promises never die away. They survive. Came back to me. You looked at me like a stranger today, like all our memories faded away. The girl who once knew every scar I hide now asks politely, have we met before tonight? And I smile while my whole world broke, hiding tears behind trembling hope, because losing you was hard enough, but watching you forget our love hurts more. So I tell you stories every day about sunset songs and rainy days, hoping somehow your heart remembers what your mind no longer can. Please fall in love with me again, even if we have to start from the beginning. I'll hold your hand like the first time and stay beside you every night. You may not remember my name or the promises we once made, but I'll keep loving you endlessly until your heart comes back to me. You laugh at jokes I used to tell, like hearing them for the first time again, and every little smile you give feels like another reason to live. But there's a truth I'll never say, that the accident was my mistake. If I had driven slower that night, maybe you still remember our life. Sometimes when you fall asleep, I whisper apologies you can't hear deep, and pray somehow your broken dreams still carry pieces of you and me. Please fall in love with me again, even if it takes forever, and then I'll recreate every memory we knew, just for another chance with you. And if one day you finally recall the way we used to have it all, I'll still be here through every scar, loving you exactly as you are. Well, maybe your mind forgot my face, but my heart could never forget yours. So I'll keep loving you until you remember us again. love has made you cry. I hear the shaking in your voice and still pretend I'm just your choice. I drive for hours through the rain just to help you smile again, then watch you run back to someone who only breaks your heart for fun. Maybe deep inside I knew I was never the one you'd choose, just the safe place you return to whenever somebody hurts you. I'm only a temporary home in your life, the quiet place where you survive. You hold my hand when your world falls apart, then leave again with pieces of my heart. But even if loving you hurts me slowly, I'll still stay when you're feeling lonely, because my heart has loved you from the start, even as a background part. You tell me, why are you so kind while staring at the city lights? But how could I explain to you, every broken piece of me belongs to you. I learned your silence, learned your pain, the fake smiles hiding in your face, and every scar he left behind only made me want to love you right. Then one night through your trembling tears, you whispered words I waited years to hear. Why is the person who heals me never the person I choose? I was only a temporary home in your life, the one who stayed through every fight. But slowly you began to realize love was standing right before your eyes. And when you finally held me close, I felt the answer in your soul. Maybe some hearts need time to see the one who truly loves them deeply. You came back one more time that night, but this time you stayed. You asked me if the shirt looked fine before your day with him that night, and I smiled like my heart was strong while secretly breaking all alone. I helped you write the perfect text, told you what he'd probably like best, and every little thing I did was love I could never admit. You talk about him endlessly while sitting right in front of me, and I became the quiet place where you returned after bad days. The one you chose wasn't me, even though I loved you silently. I watched you run into his arms while hiding all my shattered heart, and every smile I gave away was just another kind of pain, because loving you meant letting you be free, even if the one you chose wasn't me. Wasn't me. At night I wrote our story down in empty cafes across town, about a girl who never knew the boy beside her loved her true. I wrote about your tired eyes, the way you laughed, the way you cried, and how I memorized your soul while pretending I could let you go. Sometimes you call me late at night, crying after another fight, and every part of me yours wasn't me. Maybe that's just our destiny. But every page I'll ever write will still carry your name inside. And if someday your heart asks why no one loved you quite right, maybe you'll remember finally the one who stayed was me. I was never the one you chose, but I was the one who truly loved you the most. You're getting married soon, 100 days beneath the moon, and suddenly the world turned gray, like all the colors slipped away. You sounded happy on the phone, while I stood there completely alone, smiling through a breaking heart, knowing I was never part of your forever from the start. So I bought an old guitar that night and wrote down everything I couldn't say in time. One song for every day before you take his name away. 100 days before your wedding, 100 songs filled with regrets I'm hiding. Every melody carries your memory, the love I buried quietly. Maybe you'll never hear these lines, maybe I'm just singing to the night. But if my heart can't have you anymore, then let these songs love you instead. Day 17 I wrote about the way your laugh could heal my doubts. Day 32 was just your eyes, the safest place I knew in life. Day 51 I almost called, but what right did I have it all? You found somebody brave enough to tell you first he was in love. Maybe if I spoke back then, the story could have changed somehow. But now your white dress waits ahead, while I write songs you'll never know about. 100 days before your wedding, 100 nights of silent heartbreak ending. Every lyric slowly says goodbye to the girl I love my whole life. And on the 100th day I'll smile, even if it destroys me inside. Because loving you means wanting you happy, even when your forever isn't with me. So if someday you hear these songs somewhere, know that every word was always about you. My first love, my almost forever.
The first letter came in autumn rain. No name, no address, no trace. Just fragile words and faded blue. Don't leave tonight, he still loves you. I laughed at first, then read again. Every line felt strangely familiar then. And somehow deep inside my soul, it felt like somebody already knew me. Oh, every month another page arrived, saving me before my life collided, like an unseen hand through time, pulling me back before goodbye. Oh, letters from tomorrow, written with trembling hands, trying to save a love before it slips away again. Every word carried tears from somebody who knew my fears, and I never thought I'd someday see the man writing them was you and me.
Yeah, one letter said, please don't say those words. The silence after will hurt. Another whisper softly late, hold 'em close before it's too late. And every warning slowly came true, like memories I never lived through. Until one night beside our bed, I found the final letter left unread. It said, if you're reading this tonight, then somehow I changed our lives. I'm writing from years ahead, from a world where our love is dead. I lost you because of my pride, and watched our forever slowly die. So I broke time just to make sure you never stop loving her.
Oh, letters from tomorrow, now I finally understand. The stranger saving my heart was the man still wearing my wedding band. Across the years and endless skies, you fought through time to keep us alive. And every tear falls differently, knowing you love me endlessly. The last line softly read, if fate gives me one more chance, I'll choose you in every lifetime
We met in a city full of strangers, two tired hearts carrying different dangers. You wore silence like armor every day, and I hid my pain the very same way. No fireworks, no movie scene, just cold coffee and tired streets. But somehow sitting next to you made the lonely nights feel less cruel. You never asked me to save your soul, and I never tried to make you whole. We just stayed through quiet storms until the emptiness felt warm. I became your home, not with grand words or gold, but with midnight talks and holding you close. When the whole world felt cold, through small dinners and silent tears, through all your worst and hardest years, love slowly grew without us knowing. And little by little, I became your home. Some nights you cried without a sound, and I just sat there on the ground. No advice, no fixing pain, just staying through the heavy rain. You learned the scars behind my smile, the reasons I disappeared sometimes. And instead of asking me to heal fast, you simply stayed until it passed. Maybe real love isn't loud, maybe it's just being around when someone feels too broken to stand, and quietly reaching for their hand. I became your home, the safe place your heart could finally know. Not because I like home.